Good morning, good morning. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm coming to you from the Joyful Living Garden just to give you a little update on what we've done thus far with the garden. So this morning I planted a couple of white candy tuft and a couple of pansies. And actually that was a big container of pansies that I split into two, which is what I do with a lot of stuff. Why spend extra money when you don't have to? And although pansies are an annual, I have grown them as a perennial, or at least for a couple of years in my zone, which now I live in zone 8A, but that was done when I was in zone 7B. So just because something, depending on your zone, because we have really mild winters, it might survive. So don't count it out. And then here are a couple of containers that I'm truly excited about. Please forgive the mess because I'm still working on some stuff. But the lavender that I cold stratified and started from seed was the lavender Vera and the lavender Spike. And this is, which one is this? English lavender that I purchased, and some dianthus. So these have similar growing conditions. You would only water them about once a week. I'm excited to see what the lavender Vera and the lavender Spike does, because this I'm growing from seed, and I'll be honest with you, I have had zero luck with lavender, even that I purchased. So we're gonna see how this works out if I don't give it too much attention, which is usually what I do. This bed contains my Swiss chard, surrounded by onions and garlic in one cube, and then this is all spinach, again surrounded by onions and garlic. Well, that piece of garlic has come up out of the ground, but still haven't planted anything in the other cubes, but that'll be zucchini, eggplant, and a variety of other things. I'm working on it. And this is my blueberry and strawberry bed. So I planted the blueberries several weeks ago. The bare root strawberries I planted yesterday. And these were some strawberries that I already had that were in a container that were completely root bound. So I moved them to give them a little bit more space. And I wanted to put the berries and things that are just going to be attacked by birds in a kind of central location so I can cover it and actually get some berries. I hadn't had a strawberry that I grew in years because something always gets it first. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more luck with this bed. And then this bed was a bed completely full of brassicas. And as you can see, it is flowering and gone to seed. So I usually let my brassicas and other things that flower go ahead and go to seed, because they will invite pollinators to the garden. However, I usually will collect the seeds from them so that I can have, but all of these brassicas I purchased from a big box store, and they are likely hybrid breeds. And I don't want that, because next year I won't be able to predict what I get because it's not heirloom seed. So I will let this flower, invite my beautiful bees and butterflies and ladybugs, but I won't collect the seeds. When they stop flowering, I'll just pull them up. And here are a couple of marigolds that are sprouting. These I learned my lesson. This is where I learned not to gather seeds from hybrid breeds, because they were small dwarf varieties of marigolds when I purchased them, but when they came back the next year when I scattered the seeds, they were huge marigolds, which is fine because they do a fantastic job. And here again, something else going to seed. It's just too warm here. I planted these when it was plenty cool, but they're not getting big enough to harvest before they go to seed. That was a cabbage head. That was a cabbage head. That was a all of these were cabbage heads, but they're all going to seed. I'm not going to get a single, nope, this one's I might just harvest that one and eat it just because I just want to taste it. But the thing I'm most upset about is my Brussels sprouts. Now, I have babied these and taken care of them all winter long. They finally started growing. I was excited about having Brussels sprouts that I grew. As you can see, they're getting the little buds along the stalk. But you also see that it is also going to seed. So we won't get any Brussels sprouts. Here's my bee balm. That is a perennial that I leave just to invite my pollinators. Plus, they are so pretty. They are a beautiful little purple color. These few, excuse me, these few containers have bush beans in them, so they don't need a support. They will just be in a bush, but all of these have bush beans in them. There's a container of yarrow. That is a perennial. And then here, I planted some potatoes that I had in the house that were sprouting. These two have russet potatoes, and then that's a Yukon Gold. Now, I typically use a much larger container. It's overcast out here today. There isn't a good angle. I use a much larger container for my potatoes, but I'm at the point where I'm not going to spend anything else. I'm going to use the containers that I have. And if I have 12 little containers of potatoes, well, I will have 12 little containers of potatoes because I just want to use what I have. Instead of continuously buying new things, I'll buy more bags or whatever I'm using at that particular time when these start to break down. But until then, I'm going to use what I got. And I encourage you as a gardener to use what you have. You don't have to necessarily buy all this new stuff just because that's what's on the market or that's cute. We're trying to produce food. Produce your food. And lastly is a look at my asparagus. As you can see, the bare roots that I planted this year have all ferned out. And these were some of the older ones, but they could be a little bit thicker, so I decided not to harvest any more of these and give them another year. They're tasty though. Man, they're good. But all of it's ferning out. So my asparagus beds look good. I haven't pulled up any of the little things that are growing in the bottom because I want to make sure that I'm pulling up the right thing, because I know there's some marigold seeds in here. And some of this looks like grass and clover. The clover I know I will pull up because it competes for your nutrients. But I want my marigolds to come back. So I'm going to let this, I think that's grass. But I want to make sure. I don't want to mistakenly pull up my marigolds because I'm a little bit too zealous. So there you have it. There's an update for the Joyful Living Garden. There's still lots and lots of work to do and lots of things to plant. My cucumber, my loofah, my sweet potatoes. When I think about it, it can be overwhelming, but I love doing this. And this is where I find my peace. And after everything my family has gone through in the last couple of weeks, and my small hometown, I'm from a very small town, so we all know each other. So the amount of deaths that we've had in 2025 has been, take your breath away. It's been a lot. And the past 2 Saturdays, I was at a funeral, an uncle from my father's side, and then following week, an uncle from my mother's side. So this is my happy place. This is how I recenter. And I want to encourage you, no matter what you do, it might be gardening, it might not be, but find something that will help recenter you, where you can connect with God when life is showing up, when life is lifing, because it's going to do that your entire life. So life is life. Find something that helps you keep your peace. But anyway, thank you for watching this episode of In the Garden with Joyful Living. I can't wait to show you everything when everything is sprouting and producing tomatoes and peppers and eggplant and onions and cucumbers. I got 1,000 different varieties of cucumbers. I'm gonna have cucumbers coming out of my ears. But that's what I want. I want to be able to give stuff away. I want to be able to share with my neighbors as well as enjoy the fruits of my labor. All right, talk to you soon.